December is here already and soon Christmas is going to be upon us. So if you have some writers in your life, you should treat them because writing is freaking hard and they deserve a break. Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kat and today I have some creative gift suggestions for the writers in your life. Last year I did a video with 20 plus gift ideas for the book lovers in your life, and so I think every one of those ideas would also apply to your writer friends or loved ones, because obviously if they are writing books they probably love reading them as well. But this time I have some quite exciting ideas to share with you. I do love to come up with gift ideas and to spoil the people around me. I really enjoy finding the right thing for the right person, the thing that will make them happy. And so I'm hoping that this video will help you do the same. So just start with a few surefire ones that are guaranteed to apply to your writer friends. Personalized stationery, I think, could be really nice because usually writers tend to enjoy stationery and nice notebooks and things like that. I think it could be really nice to get them, for example, a letter writing set with personalized paper and envelopes, all those kind of things. But why not also business cards with their writer's name? If they have a pseudonym, for example, that could be fun. Along with that, you could get them a fancy fountain pen with some cool colored ink. And for notebooks specifically, those will not be personalized, but I love the brand Notebook Therapy. I think they have very cool set. Those are more kind of bullet journal types of notebooks, but I think they work really well for writers as well. I've been using them for years and I absolutely love them, so I can really recommend. They have really cute and cool designs, also plenty of washi tape and things like that if your writer is a bit of a crafty person and enjoy decorating the inside of their notebook as well. Next, you could go the more educational route and give them a masterclass subscription. So Masterclass is a website with a lot of courses from very famous artists, writers, actors, like professionals in their fields, people who are really the best of the best. And I think the subscription has gotten much more affordable in the last few years. And so on that platform, you have plenty of great courses with writers. I did quite a few of them. Some of my favorites are the fantasy and world building class with N.K. Jemisin, which I highly recommend. There's also one with Margaret Atwood, plenty of other famous writers, and so I think that's quite a guaranteed quality writing course for your writer friends. Alternatively, if your writer loves YouTube, it's very likely that they do follow other writers on the platform, and so maybe some of them do have a Patreon subscription. So you could consider subscribing for that and offering the subscription to your writer. That way they will get access to exclusive content from their favorite author-tuber. I know I really love Christian Jones' Patreon, for example, so that's another thing that you could get for them that could be helpful for feeling their creative well and maybe getting craft tips and all of that. Depending on where you are based in the world, you could also consider getting them a writing conference ticket. I go to one every year in Europe and I've met some amazing people this way. I started a writing group with some of the people I met in that conference. There are also such events that are held online. Writing conferences are amazing to get industry insights, to get great lessons in craft, but also to meet other writers and build your community, which is so important for a writer because writing can be a very solitary practice. So finding ways for them to connect with other writers is going to be really helpful. And so again, there are some online options, local options. Look at what's available, and if there is something that could fit your writer, then I think that would be an amazing gift for them. Along those lines, if there is no conference near you, or maybe if there is, you could also take it a step further and organize a mini writing retreat for your writer. Depending on what you have in mind and what your budget is, it can be a bit expensive, but I think you can also just book them like one night in a local hotel or something that's not going to break your budget, and give them that precious time that is going to allow them to kind of change scenery a little bit, kind of reset and dedicate time for their writing. I think that would be probably the favorite gifts for a lot of writers. Now, if you found ones that are a bit more on the gadget side, but still really, really cool, and I really like them. If your writer is a bit playful, you could get them story cubes. So this is a little box with a bunch of dice, and they all have a bunch of different symbols on each of the sides. And so the way you can use them is just you select a number, you throw them, and then you have to come up with a story based on the symbols that appear. So you have a plane, an apple, a pyramid, an eye, a scale, like it's very different things. And so it's a fun way to brainstorm where you're at the beginning of the story, but it could also be a problem solving tool if they are stuck in their novel. And so they just throw a dice and try to find a solution with the image that they get. Next is a cute ambience diffuser plug. It's a bit hard to explain, but there is one shaped like a little bookstore. You plug it into your wall and then it will project images on the wall, like little books and stuff. That would really work for book lovers as well, not necessarily just writers. I've seen this on the book reviews with Becky channel, and I thought that was such a cute gift idea that I had to include it in this one. Now we're getting into ideas that I think could get you a lot of points with your writers if you go that route. If they have already published a book, you could get them a poster of the cover of the book to frame, and well, already you can gift it already framed, but that they can hang in their writer space if they have one, or in their bedroom or somewhere that will showcase their work. If they haven't published yet, but you know enough about the book they're writing, you could try to get a cover designed for the book and then have it again printed and framed. And I think it would be great motivation for them to finish their project. You could also do that with earrings if your writers has pierced ears and have like little mini books with their books cover on it. I think that's such a cute idea. I saw actually a writer at a conference who had done that. It was A.Y. Chow, and she had Shanghai Immortals earrings, and I thought that was so cute, such a fun kind of promo tool and conversation starter. So I loved it, and I think it would be really fun to have your own book as earrings. Again, if your author is already published, or if you know enough about their characters in the book that they're writing, you could get them some character art done. So basically you contact an artist, you give them a description of the characters from the book, and they will give you a beautiful illustration. If you are not feeling confident enough to do that yourself, you could still get a gift card for your writer to do that. I will link in the description below a video from Jade Juniper where she did a bunch of character art for her book. I think that could give you some tips and ideas on how to go about it. Next, for writers that are taking their writing to the professional level, I think you could give them the fees for an author website. For example, like the fees for a year of hosting their website online. A fun one, but probably also a bit more on the expensive side, you could give them a professional photo shoot to get their author photo. That's always a huge deal for writers. But also if you are a photographer yourself, maybe you could give them the session and do the photos yourself. I think that could be a very nice and fun bonding activity as well. Next, if you have quite a good budget, this is a bit more on the pricey side, but you could look into tech tools that could make your writer's life easier. So I have two in mind. The first one is called FreeWrite, and it's basically a little keyboard or word processor that you can take along with you everywhere. Like the thing is, you can't connect to the internet from it. Like you can't do a Google search or anything. It's only for writing. So that's going to be very helpful for writers who get easily distracted and need some help with staying focused and making sure that they just get the writing done. The thing with this is that I think it connects still to Google Drive and other platforms like that, so that the things that you're writing are already automatically saved into the cloud. And then the other thing could be a digital notebook. If your writers like to write by hand, but also like to have their materials with them at all time, I think a digital notebook could be very helpful, because then they get the feel of writing on paper, but everything is digitalized and accessible from a laptop and computer. Next, if you are literary inclined, meaning that you know how books work, how storytelling works, kind of how to craft good characters, or just like if you're an avid reader and you love stories and you're not already doing that with your writer, you could give them a proper brainstorm session. So just almost like a date where you sit together in a nice context and you let your writer pick your brain about their book, like kind of talk about what it's about, what they're struggling with, kind of the plot points that are giving them difficulty, and you just help them untangle that. And oftentimes just being able to speak aloud to another person really helps, and you might not have to contribute much. Just being a sounding board for them would be very helpful. So again, if you have some sense of storytelling and you're not already contributing in that way, I think that your writer would be very grateful for that. If you don't feel confident in the kind of storytelling side, you could just give them a kind of ranting session and just like give them the space again to talk about their book and the thing that they're frustrated about, and just like not necessarily from a perspective of helping them solve the problem, but just giving them an outlet for their frustration or their difficulties and the thing that they find hard about writing, and just being a attentive ear to their struggle and being understanding and being there to support them and encourage them. Hopefully it's something that you already do regularly, but sometimes a writer might feel like they need the authorization to bore you with the book. So I think that could be a nice touch. And also if you're on a tight budget, that's basically a free gift, or maybe like a few bucks if you want to pair that with a nice hot drink in a cafe or something. If you have the budget, you could also go the professional way with this and offer them a gift card for a coaching session or an edit kind of consult with a professional editor. That could be helpful for a writer who's already kind of started or finished a first draft and need a little bit of professional help to get it into the next stage. And then the final gift suggestion, which is my favorite one, and I already included something similar in the book lover gift idea video, is a care package for your writer. And so the idea is just like kind of a basket with a bunch of different things in there that is going to be kind of self-care tools for your writer to help them along their journey. Because again, writing a book is really, really hard. And so every help we can get is going to be welcome. That care package, you definitely want it to be as tailored to your writer as possible. So you could include things like ingredients to their favorite beverage, so some coffee, tea, or maybe a hot chocolate mix, their favorite snacks. You could have like a fun writerly mug. You could get them a scented candle. There is a brand that does a wordsmith's candle, which I would be quite keen to try out and see if it helps. But I think most importantly, you could also craft little notes for specific struggles that your writer might encounter. So you might get a little pep talk of a letter for imposter syndrome, for creative block, writer's block, for when they're tired and they don't want to write. But you could also have one cheering them on for like specific milestone, like they reach 50,000 words on their manuscript. Have a little card for that occasion, and just having what it's about on the envelope so that they know that they need to reach that milestone to get to that letter, I think would be very motivating as well. Those were all my gift suggestions for the writers in your life. I hope you have a wonderful month of December full of great celebration and holidays and time with loved ones. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.